Hi everyone, good morning. I am very proud and honored to welcome you all to this first Dentsu virtual roundtable, where we're going to talk about what suites digital marketing has to offer when cookies have crumbled. I'm really excited to have so many professionals joining us today, because at this point, 200 have registered and therewith confirmed how important it is to discuss how our industry and our market will deal with the fact that third-party cookies will vanish as of January 2022. Because for years now, cookies have been an implicitness to help us track website visitors, improve user experience, and collect data that help us target ads to the right audiences. So when Google announced to phase out third-party cookies in January last year, owning over 56% of the worldwide and 43% of the Swiss browser traffic with Chrome at that time, they've disrupted digital marketing as we know it. Again, I tend to say. There's no substitute. There are no alternative identifiers to track digital behavior across the web as we used to. And that implicates the urgent need to rethink how digital marketing will work in the future. Data privacy regulations and tech platform policies will continue to stage the scene and influence how marketers, publishers, and agencies plan and execute campaigns. Considering also the rising consumer expectations and the fact that ethical data collection will play an increasing role in building a strong brand reputation, further magnify the challenge ahead of us. But with challenge comes opportunity, and we would like to snatch this one and initiate the conversation and trigger the exchange around how our industry is evolving. Because at Dentsu, we truly believe in taking a joint approach to drive valuable conversations in this particular case around transparency, consent management, and the usage of first-party data. I would like to thank everyone that shares our belief and has taken the time to log in today. My appreciation then goes to our speakers on stage, our clients represented by BMW and Generali, our partners Goldbach, Tietz, Ringe, and Alpige. And I'd also like to thank the IAB for supporting our efforts around this event and for launching 2 working groups on the cookieless future this week, where anyone representing an advertiser, publisher, agency, or tech provider is welcome to participate. Now, let's get started. I wish you all an insightful and inspiring session, and please join me in welcoming Gioacchino Aurelio, Audience Strategy Director at Dentsu, a digital enthusiast by nature and our host for today's event. Hi, Joe. How are you today?
Hi, Jonas. I'm doing great, thanks. And I can see that you are doing great as well. Thank you so much for your speech. Thank you so much for your intro. I will kick off the event, and so I can welcome all the ladies and gentlemen connecting with us today. Thank you so much for joining the event. Today, we're going to talk about third-party cookie deprecation, as Jonas already anticipated to us, and how it will impact the world of data-driven advertising as we know it. We will also talk about privacy regulation, transparency, and consent management, as those topics are strictly related to the future of data-driven advertising in a cookieless world. So let's jump quickly on the agenda so I can drive you through the discussion that we will cover during our event. We will start with a brief introduction of ourselves. Then we will move to the core of our roundtable conversation. We identify 3 micro areas to investigate together with our guests. We will talk about cookieless marketing in upper funnel activities, cookieless marketing in lower funnel activities, tracking and monitoring in cookieless environment. And at the end, I will have a quick even wrap up just to sum up what has been discussed and also anticipate to you what are going to be the next steps that we are going to tackle together with our partners. So let's meet the attendees. I will start with a brief introduction of myself, and then I will pass the word to all the other guests that are joining the event together with us today. I'm Gioacchino Aurelio. As Jonas already said, I'm the DMP and CDP Audience Strategy Director at Dentsu, and it's a pleasure to be the moderator of the event of today. I will pass the word to Sibyl. Sibyl, would you mind to introduce yourself? Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone, also from my end. So thank you very much for the warm welcome to you. It's a pleasure to be here today. My name is Sibyl Meyer, and after having gained working experience actually on both sides, so publisher and advertiser side, throughout the last years, I'm working now for almost 3.5 years for BMW Switzerland in the marketing department. I'm responsible for digital topics such as our websites, analytics, and also data-driven digital marketing activities such as search and DCO, and some overall digital projects. And therefore, the topic today of the discussion is very interesting for me, and I'm really looking forward to our upcoming discussion. And thank you also to the whole Dentsu team today for organizing this interesting roundtable.
Thank you so much, Sibyl. Mattia?
Hi to everyone as well from my side, and thank you also from my side, Dentsu, for having invited me to this roundtable. Generally, I'm covering the role as digital marketing expert since almost 2 years now. And there I'm covering everything related to digital campaigns, so really from awareness to performance, from strategy to implementation. I also take lead on this SEA part, on web analytics, as well on the whole ad stack and tool landscape that we have at Generali. I'm very happy to join the discussion today. I think that we will have a very interesting discussion also to see which challenges we face, not only on the advertiser side, but as well on the publisher side. And hopefully I can bring some valuable inputs, and maybe we can also find some common opportunities and paths on which we can struggle together.
Of course you'll do, Mattia. Thank you so much. Celine?
Hello, everyone. Also from my side, thank you to Dentsu and all partners in the beginning for organizing this roundtable event. We are happy to be part on this discussion here. I am Celine Guckisberg. I have been working at APG now about 10 years. I started in the sale in the out-of-home business in the APG. In November 2017, I moved to the AMO mobile targeting department shortly after its development. Actually, now I'm responsible for the account management, and I think the third-party cookies will impact a lot of activities in the advertising market, of course, and I think in future it is really important also to discuss about targeting solutions which are not dependent on the third-party cookies. And I look forward to today's exchange about the solution in the cookieless future. Thanks also for having us.
Thanks to you, Celine. Annette?
Hello. Good morning, everyone. My name is Annette Dielmann. I am Director Platform Solutions at Goldbach, and in my team we are handling the EdTech architecture for digital advertising, but we also are responsible for solutions for the programmatic future regarding cross-channel advertising. In my team, we are also handling the data lake, the ID handling topics, and also the TCF 2.0 signalization, everything what's around consent. Cookieless is a topic, and as you mentioned, Gio, it's very much related to all privacy topics too. So we have a very diverse expert team working on that. And I'm very happy to be invited to that round. And look forward for the discussion. Thank you, the whole Dentsu team, for having me here.
Thank you so much, Annette. It's a pleasure having you here. Hugh?
Hi, everyone. Thanks a lot, Dentsu, for this nice invitation. I'm very excited to be here and to discuss such an heavy topics with such a great partners, of course. I am Hugues Templier. I'm head of data and for Continental Europe and MENA. At TIDS, I have been at TIDS for the last 8 years now, mainly more working on the product and business development side. I think cookieless has been a major topic for us over the last years now. We have been prepared. It's a very exciting time for innovation, preparation, and the fact that there is still some cookies in 2021 is very key because it allows us to do some tests and to discuss. So that's why talking about it now, it's a really good stuff.
Thank you, Hugh. Alex?
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me, Dentsu. I'm Alex Merck. I'm head of data-driven advertising and development at Ringier Advertising. I've been with Ringier for the last 2 years. I basically have an agency background where I was also responsible for data-driven advertising. The cookieless world is crucial for us at Ringier Advertising and my team. It is basically our main priority topic is the future identifiers and other solutions for data-driven advertising. And I'm here today as I believe we need to test and learn together to create solutions for a new bright future in a cookieless world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex. So it is great to see that we have such a bunch of expert talent joining our conversation today. And once again, thank you so much for joining the Roundtable event today. I will start kicking off the first micro area that we will investigate together with our guest today. We have a set of questions that we will address, first of all, to our advertisers guest, so BMW and Generali. I will start with a quick poll. And by the way, it is possible to participate to the poll even from the opt-in dashboard. So to all the webinar attendees, you could participate to the poll. It would be great for us to collect your feedback on this respect, because we will use the feedback collected from you also to understand where we should focus our effort in the upcoming conversation that we will trigger following our roundtable event. So you're more than welcome if in case you may want to join the conversation about this topic. After the poll, I will also address an open question to our colleagues in order to understand what kind of solution and alternatives advertisers are expecting on their side, and also what can be delivered by the publisher side. So let's start with the first poll. I will address the first question to Sibyl, and then I will also like to hear the opinion of Mattia. So Sibyl, from 1 to 5, how important is it for your business to run lookalike modeling to extend your campaign audience reach?
Thank you to you. I would say from my point of view, it's a 4. I mean, of course, it's depending on our activities, but overall important to us. And I would say always a good option for campaigns with a reach and awareness as a main focus. However, it is not such a must for us, at least in our case, for campaigns with performance as a main goal, I would say. As based on our experience, lookalike audiences may also dilute an audience too much and can also decrease their relevancy.
Oh, thank you, Sibyl. Nice point of view. And Mattia, from 1 to 5, how it is important for Generali to run lookalike modeling in order to extend the campaign audience reach?
Yeah, thank you, Joe. So yeah, no surprise, it's a 4 as well for us. You know, we really believe that lookalike audiences, if it's upper funnel or lower funnel, are very relevant, because actually we are looking into people that are, you know, similar to people that are visiting our website, and this is our also, let me say the keyword. We built the lookalike mainly on website visitors that look for specific pages, or even, for example, on converters for the lower funnel. And we also try to build, you know, such kind of quality visitor on which we build as well lookalikes when it comes to more middle funnel campaigns. So for us, it's very crucial to build on lookalike.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mattia. So you said about quality visitors. So talking about quality, I will take the chance to connect with the next question I would like to address to you, because we know that when we talk about quality for companies, the best quality is inside their CRM database. So in this respect, have you ever launched lookalike modeling based on your CRM data as a baseline segment? Sibyl, would you like to share with us your experience on this respect?
Yeah, for sure. So far, actually, we didn't do that at BMW, and mainly due to data privacy reasons.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I see that data privacy is an important concern, and I'm sure that our publisher will make this concern even more. We'll try to clarify any doubts on your respect on this respect, because when we talk about data privacy, we understand the risk and also potential issues, but there is still a way to ensure you to leverage on the powerful data quality that you host on your CRM database without exposing to any data privacy breach or any data privacy risk. And Mattia, what's the situation for Generali? Have you ever launched lookalike modeling based on your CRM data?
Yeah, we actually have done some pilots in this direction, but it was like more client communication and not pure advertising that we did when we use CRM data. I think in general, the topic is really to from an insurer point of view, to be on the safe side, that we use only the data that we can really use, on which we have the consent. There is the technical part that is really important on how this is also implemented. But I think the even more crucial topic for us, and when we discuss with our DPO in the company, is to have somebody on which we can build trust. On the other side, if you think on this activity, maybe on the big social media company that at least once a year has a data leak, it's a matter of, do we want to share the data with them? So I think that there is a big potential actually also in speaking with a local player, local publisher, in building a relationship with them. And I think that also with the login strategy, login user strategy they have, they probably have also some solutions. So I'm very interested in listening to them.
Yes, really good points highlighted by Generali on this respect. So I will pass the word to the publisher in order to answer all the doubts and concerns that you raised against the question that I addressed to you. But before to pass the stage to Alex, I would like to clarify in some points when we talk about usage of second and third party data in order to extend the audience reach by leveraging on lookalike modeling activities. So in the past, third party data were quite heavily used when you were used to run lookalike modeling. And we know that the third party cookie deprecation, together with the government's regulation, is impacting quite heavily third-party data offering from the third-party data provider side. And it is important for us to highlight the fact that even if you maybe won't be leverage anymore on the power of data coming from third-party data providers, you could still explore the power of either type of data that could be provided by other entities. On this respect, the second-party data are for sure the most safe alternative compared to third-party data. And on this respect, the best option when you think about second-party data partnership would be to reach out directly to the publishers and possibly set up together with them and trustful data partnership. But on this respect, I know that Alex from Ringer and Annette from Goldbach, they have a quite interesting alternatives that they could present to us. So I will just pass the stage to Alex, so he will be able, even more than I, to disclose to you with you what they could offer to the advertisers. Alex.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. So Ringier Advertising offers qualitative data for lookalike modeling. I would like to show you an interesting solution for advertisers based on lookalike modeling using our DMP. This is one solution among others as an example. So basically, this is an example where we can connect marketers to publishers. What is needed from the marketer side is seed data, which would be used in an own client-owned DMP seed, where our data, the Ringier data, can be matched to do a lookalike modeling to basically expand the audiences based on that seed data. And then this lookalike segment can be used for audience activation. With this solution, an advertiser can use their seed audience in their own seed, which can be used by a publisher on the publisher's side for expansions on their audience. So for example, Generali can reach similar people for a car insurance as their CRM data. The customer and our data as a publisher is never shared. The data is only accessible by the technology provider. And furthermore, it is used in the data clean room approach and is fully GDPR compliant. So basically, in sum, an advertiser can use this solution to expand their audience on our qualitative lookalikes to reach their target group. This is one example and approach among many to expand audiences, and we are open also to discuss other solutions with clients.
The seed audience segment coming from advertiser inside your larger data set. Would you mind to share with us more insight on how your data offering is built and what kind of data sources are involved? I see that you have a dedicated chart for this.
For sure. So we're able to offer this. This is basically based on our first-party data. This is based on all sites publishing and marketplace in our portfolio, which we can use as a base of our data world, which you can see on the slide here. So this is our future zero and first-party data world, which is based on various data sources as Ringier Connect, our SSO solution, which we will talk about later, also publisher data or marketplaces with Scout24, which in future all will rely on the identifier, the first-party data identifier besides cookies to basically create socio-demographic interest or intent segments. So here you can basically see our data world, which in future relies on first-party data or Ringier Connect almost fully as an identifier. So basically all segments but contextual rely on this first-party identifier in future. I believe it is important to stress that, yeah, we have here a solution for third-party cookie deprecation with our own first-party data and identifier, which can also be used for lookalike modeling.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Alex, for this great overview on the possible alternatives that Ringier could offer to our clients. I know that Goldbach has a similar solution, and I also trust that Annette will be able to disclose some more details with us towards the solution that they could provide. Annette?
Yes, Alex already explained very clear how lookalike modeling with advertiser data is working. It's the same principle we are using with Goldbach. What is important in that case is that the seed data is not personalized data any longer, because it's already hashed into an anonymous field. And so we are working on a very safe or also data privacy compliant field in that way. The lookalike audiences which will be created by the DMP will be offered in the programmatic marketplaces, and the agency or the client has the opportunity in these programmatic marketplaces also to bring different different data sets together from different publishers. So he is also in full control to expand the audience by bringing different publisher spaces also together, and not only one.
So at the end, it's interesting what you're saying, Annette, because what I really like is the fact that your solution could be potentially scaled towards different publishers. And in this chart, we can see that the amount of data sources that you could collect is potentially, quite huge. Of course, some of the logos are reported here are just an example, but it's interesting to see also how you could cover different environments, different channels, and in order to be able to track and target users across different environments. And what I really like is also the fact that you are bringing together all those different channels in one single environment, potentially data lake. And thanks to the power of machine learning, you will be able to achieve and deliver different use cases. Would you mind to share some more details on this respect, Annette? Potentially, quickly, so we will jump in the second set of questions, if I may.
When we started with data management 2014, we directly started with tracking as much different data from very different publishers in a compliant way for the DMP, and we were working on lookalike modeling from the beginning. And what is very important, with a variety of different publishers, we also see that it's not only the third-party cookie, which is basis for an identifier. We have first-party cookies. We have data from the video players we are having. We have data from audio players, and bringing all these different informations, or collecting all these different informations, are the basis for a new ID graph. And I think the ID graph, where you provide the ad tech with the option to address the advertising place, that becomes more and more crucial. That we move towards a multi-identifier handling and a multi-addressability opportunity versus the old model of having the third-party cookie as the one and only solution.
Yeah, and thank you so much for sharing this with us, Annette. What I really like is the fact that publishers are moving towards a quite similar direction. I would say even the same direction. This is actually really great news for advertisers, because they can see that the rest of the industry is moving towards a unique direction. And if they manage to move together, and also leverage on the same technology infrastructure, it would be even easier for advertisers to onboard on some specific activities. So this is really good news, and hopefully also BMW in generally are liking what you disclosed with us today. So moving on the next set of questions. Once again, we have another poll. So once again, to the webinar attendees, it would be great if you could interact with the poll feature included in the streaming tool to answer our poll, because this would be a valuable insight for us in order to understand where we should focus our effort in the near future. But coming back to our discussion, I will start with Sibyl. From 1 to 5, how much it is important for your business to run prospecting activities leveraging on third-party data? I know that for brands, it's always important to get in touch with a new set of clients. And in the past, third-party data were representing a relevant source of information in order to target the most compelling audiences with your current fan base or customer base. And how do you think this is important nowadays for you and your company, Sibyl?
Thank you, Gio. Actually, I would give that poll a 4. Because it's still important for us, especially like I mentioned quickly before, when we talk about the main target to increase our target audience. Especially, for example, if we then also include Google data as third-party data into the discussion, it's even more relevant to us since for our prospecting activities, since the amount of data is really huge there and well categorized. So it's allowing the algorithm behind it a lot of room to optimize, and which we can, of course, then also use for our digital campaign optimization properly.
Okay, great to know that. And Mattia, from Generali, from 1 to 5, how much it is important for your business? If I will remember our previous conversation, you are not quite aligned with what Sibyl shared with us.
Yeah, Joe. Actually, I gave it to the poll a 2 because I would say we are almost independent from third-party data. In fact, in 2019, we started to build our own ecosystem in terms of tool landscape. We opted for the Google marketing platform. So, we have an own DSP. And I think one solution you mentioned before is second-party data. We have there some very valuable data. And on the other hand, we can leverage on the first-party data we have from Web Analytics and share it with all the tool platforms.
Okay, so it looks like that for Generali, the third-party data are not representing anymore a valuable source of information, and I have to say that it's really interesting to discover these. The next question I would like to address to you, Sibyl, do you expect third-party data audiences to be heavily impacted by third-party cookie deprecation? And if yes, do you already have a possible alternative in place?
Thank you, Gio. Yes, I actually expect them being impacted. However, we have also learned already that there are some alternatives already in the market available, such as category targeting or even contextual targeting, which will be rather put the focus on a content-wise side instead of websites or instead of a user's behavior across the web, which will be really interesting for us. But since we can also still see that the whole market is still in a kind of a development phase, and there's a lot of movement when we have a look at, for example, the bigger tech players like Google or Facebook. So there are still some more solutions in the working. So we will still need to keep a very close eye on those development and then to also really quickly adapt our campaign setup based on those new evolving technologies, in our opinion. And what I really liked before was the topic about the scalability, because this in the end will be also really important for us also going forward. However, what's actually also one of the most important topics here is no matter about what kind of possible solutions we're talking about in the future, are actually the consequences for our customers. Since I would say data security and also the trust of our customers into our brand in the end is a must for us at BMW. So it's really important to us that also our industry partners with whom we might work together in the future are sharing the same values regarding transparency, data security, but also trust. And coming back to the second part of the question, yes, of course, we're working already into that direction. To name only one really important example is also that we are spending a lot of work and efforts in working on a transparent and also future-proof content management across our websites to make a really good fundament for the upcoming future.
Oh, thank you so much, Sibyl. What I really like from your answer is the fact that you focus on the importance of being transparent and trustworthy with your customer base. I have to say that I fully agree with what you shared with us. This is the most important thing, and I also think that this is going to be one of the most important topics that are going to be part of for the discussion that we may have, also because it's going to be really challenging, in my opinion, the way all the stakeholders, part of the industry, are going to implement kind of unified content management tool. And yes, I totally agree with what you shared. Thanks a lot for sharing this with us. But I also would like to listen to the opinion of the general in this respect. So Mattia, how do you think third-party data audiences will be impacted by the third-party cookie deprecation, and what are the possible alternatives that you already may have in place? I remember that you shared with us that you're already working with the second-party data partnership and also increasing the usage of your first-party data. Would you like to share some more insights together with us?
Yes, for sure. I think that on the first question, it really depends on how the third-party data is collected. But to come, let me say, to what I mentioned a little bit before, and you asked me right now. So actually, we have almost all our budget almost goes into second-party and first-party data. We think that, when we talk about second-party data, Google shows a little bit the path, because they really created very strong audiences. You can go for buy intent, you can target on specific live moments, you can create your custom audiences based on keywords people are looking for. But I have to say that we started the discussion with almost every also Swiss publisher to build second-party segments, and today these are very custom solution for us to our specific needs. And I think, today this is also a competitive advantage probably compared to others, since I've not seen so far a very cherry-picking approach like we see, as for example I mentioned Google, but I think that if the direction would be the kind of the same, so unifying also these segments and being more cherry picking for advertisers, this could be I think very interesting for us. And as I mentioned, really we built already some very strong deals on our DSP with private marketplaces from Switzerland.
Yeah, thank you, Mattia. I see your point. What I would like to share with you is that, yes, you're right. Maybe the big tech players are more advanced on the way they propose their offering. But on the other side, I also have to say that as you can see, publisher, even local publisher, are quite involved in this topic, and they put a lot of effort in order to improve their skills and or their capabilities in order also at the end to improve the offering to the clients as you generally and also BMW. So in order to come back to the topic of the importance of third-party data for audience extension and how the third-party cookie deprecation will impact this, I would like to invite Hugh from TIS sharing his opinion on what could be the different alternatives to put in place in order to still be able to run prospecting activities without leveraging on technology based on the third-party cookie tracking. So, Hugh, would you mind to share with us your insight on this respect?
Yes, of course. So thanks a lot, Sibyl and Mattia. It was super interesting. For us at TIDS, there is two main pillars to face this challenge where there will be less cookie and less third-party cookies. The first one is how we could do cookie-less audience targeting and sustainable while respecting the user privacy, which is the key of the next new challenges. And of course, how we could leverage the context, which is not requiring consent or cookies or history of the user to be able to target and give a message. Gio, if you can, yeah. So for us on the audience side, how we could do a sustainable audience targeting while respecting the user privacy. There is no one-size-fits-all solution, but several solutions that you can combine. For the sake of time, I won't be able to go through every type of solutions, but leveraging the unique IDs could be super interesting. Leveraging the first-party cookie from the publisher could be super interesting as well. Of course, having a predictive audience, like being able to predict in real time who is behind a certain device. This is possible and this is activable today. Of course, the privacy sandbox, the new solution coming from Google is coming with a new paradigm, which is very interesting. That will be something that we will use in the future when it will be ready, of course. And then the React project, it's the innovation initiative coming from the entire industry. It's very theoretical yet, but this is something that we will take into account into the future. So one word, not one miracle solution, but several that we can use. And how we could use it today, this is more a vision there, but we can use our own predictive audience. This is what we're doing at TIDS. And on top of that, we are adding what will be available in the next few months as the unique ID, the publisher first-party data, and of course, the privacy sandbox. So being organized will be key. Having the right partnership in place will be key. Having the right relation with publisher is very important. And this is how we would cope with this challenge by combining several solutions. So this is it. How we do audience on the contextual side. This is as well very interesting because we don't need any consent. We don't need the history of the user to be able to use contextual targeting. For us, there is 4 main challenges. Make sure that you have the right algorithm because you could base your approach on keywords or linking those keywords together, having a semantical analysis of every pages and defining core topics for one pages. Granularity is also key. Having the right core topics allow you to have the right classification and to organize your approach with enough granularity to narrow down your targeting and be precise. Of course, the placement, having an ad in the middle of a user-generated content is not exactly the same as having an ad in the middle of a professional content. Professional content is creating an halo effect, which makes your ads more efficient. So this will be key when you will choose something or a partner to do contextual targeting. Finally, actionability is very key. Context is often based on intuition, but having rational tools to help you to define and create your audience will be also key. So all in one, these 4 industries, you need to answer them when choosing the right contextual approach. And how to do contextual, and I will finish with that. So Gio, if you can just pass, yeah, perfect. Contextual, how we would use it. You can use contextual as a proxy for audience targeting. In other words, as a way to find your user, your audience. Having kind of a cliche, but targeting only pages talking about golf will help you to potentially target people that have high revenue. So really using audience as a way to target, context as a way to target your audience. Then it's product suitability. Having a product aligned with the content amplify your message marketing. And you can do that very simply with a one-to-one alignment. So this camera advertising in the middle of an article talking about photography. But to have more volume and to be more engaged on your ad, you can also work on the consideration of your product, again, to amplify your marketing message. So having this camera in the middle of an article talking about wedding, about safari on honeymoon, will drive more engagement and will help you to be more efficient when using contextual. And I think that's it. So it's our view, quick view of how we would cope with a future with less cookie.
Thank you so much, Hugo. I have to say that I really like the angle that you gave to this analysis in terms of potential alternatives that could be provided by TIDS in order to still be able to support advertiser on running prospecting activities, so trying to reach a set of users that are compelling with their current customer base. Before to move on, the second macro area that we would like to investigate together with our guests, let me quickly sum up what has been discussed in our first chapter. So we talk about the importance of lookalike modeling in order to reach out users with similar behavior compared to your current customers, and also the importance of still being able to run prospecting activities in order to get in touch with users that can be more interesting for your business. We saw that the third-party cookie deprecation is going to affect the offering in terms of third-party data, but at the same time, we also realized that the publishers already have different solutions and alternatives to positioning on this respect. We saw the importance of having access to some specific technologies. We talked about the DMP, and I'm also quite happy to see that the DMP are still on the game, even if there were a lot of rumors talking about the fact that the DMP won't be really effective anymore with the third-party cookie deprecation, but we know that DMP is still a technology that can fully leverage also in first-party cookie tracking. And also the importance of having other kind of technologies like CDP, as an example. They are another, let's say, platform which is quite similar in terms of capabilities to the data management platforms. So we saw the importance of predictive audiences and contextual targeting. So I would quote Hugo. The best approach would be an hybrid one, where you basically try to leverage on all the different alternatives that you could have access, and at the end, by test and learning, you will understand what's going to be the best solution for your business. Moving on the next topic, now we are going to talk about cookieless marketing in lower funnel activities. Once again, I have a brief set of questions that I would like to address to our guests. I will start with the first question. From 1 to 5, how important is it for your business to run retargeting activities? Sibyl, would you like to share the perspective of BMW in this respect?
Of course, thank you. I would give it actually a 5, so very important in our case. And why would I give a 5? Because I think for us it's important on 3 different levels. First of all, when we talk about our DCO campaigns based on our retargeting audiences, and in order to being able to optimize them on specific touch points. Second topic, or the second level here, would be, in my point of view, the topic conversion optimization when it comes to our search campaigns. And last but not least, also for our national campaigns, for which it's really important for us to build not only quick and efficient user journey, but also send an adequate and also consistent message across multiple channels.
Thank you, Sibyl. And Mattia, I assume that even for Generali, retargeting activity represent a quite important topic. What's your thought on this respect?
Yes, Joe, actually, it's like you were saying, for us, it's as well a 5. Retargeting activities are very important. In terms of, or in the insurance sector, we cannot outspend our blue peers or the big ones, competitors. So our strategy is also a little bit to try to outsmart them. So we really rely on the retargeting strategy. But for us, retargeting is not just talking again to a user that visited a specific page. Retargeting is really, we always say a little bit, we try to do an advanced retargeting where we focus also on people doing some events on the web page. And we also started to create some algorithms to predict the conversion intent of the retargeting audience, so that we can cluster it and also then have a different bid strategy depending on the intent of conversion they will have on our web page. We will launch actually this is a news. Actually, we will launch this project in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, really good to hear that. I'm also thrilled about hearing the fact that you're already quite advanced on running retargeting activities. The next question I would like to address to you, Sibyl, is do you expect retargeting activities to be heavily impacted by third-party cookie deprecation? And if yes, do you have any possible alternative in place?
I would actually say, sorry.
No, sorry. I would have like just to raise the point that third-party cookie is a technology that it is indeed effective in retargeting activities, especially retargeting activities outside your own channels. If we think as an example to Facebook remarketing pixel, this is a third-party cookie technology. So this could have an impact, but I won't waste any more time of yours. So Sibyl, please share your point of view on this respect.
No worries at all. And I would actually say my answer is yes and no to that question, to the initial question, because I would say third-party cookies will be impacted. Yes, for sure, as we have heard. But as you just also already mentioned in that direction, luckily not all first-party data are collected through third-party cookie technologies. So what we can say is that we definitely need to work very closely with our partners. And I think we have heard that already before from some other guests here in the discussion. And that because simply of the fact that in order to examine other possibilities in the future, such as first-party data, not only connected to our website data. Also here, the important topic for us and the big challenge will be, in our point of view, having a good content management solution in place. On the one hand, in order to offer a transparent but also flexible possibility for our customers, being able to really decide on their end about the usage of their own data, but also on the other side for us, still being able to gain enough data in order being able to still send the right message at the right time to the right person. And since we believe that only then we can really add a value for our customer with our activities.
This is a really interesting point of view, Sibyl. Thanks a lot for sharing, because I really like the fact that you highlight the importance of still be really transparent with the final customer. So talking about unified content management is once again one of the key topics that I think that will be part of the following discussions. And also the fact that you want still be effective and I would say impactful on your retargeting activities is another inspiring point of view, in my opinion, because here we are talking about omni-channel communication and not purely focus on let's say, the classic retargeting via the digital advertising channel. So thanks a lot for sharing this. And Mattia, what is the point of view generally towards those questions?
Yeah, thank you, Joe. So I don't want to be repeating on that, but as I mentioned before, we basically build most of the retargeting audiences on first-party data, and so we can share it with the DSP and Google Ads and all these kind of channels. But we have seen that even for the first-party data, there are some challenges because we know that they sometimes last only for 24 hours on some browser. So we also changed a little bit, the approach of doing retargeting in the bidding. Maybe before we were much more focusing, on storytelling, sequencing, also in optimizing on conversion. And today it's much more important to try to reach the retargeting basket as soon as possible. So we more try to maximize the impression on this audience. So we see that there are also some challenges on the first party side. And I think you mentioned as well Facebook, that is also like an open topic that we are starting now to struggle also with with our partners in order to find as well there are some solution in place that we can identify, so that I think maybe you will spend, I think, also maybe something about that, but there are some server API solution to solve some issues there, let me say.
Yes, indeed, you're right, Mattia. Some of the publisher will also cover this topic, indeed. Talking about publisher, I would like to engage them in order to share what are the possible alternatives that they could provide to you in order to let you still be able running retargeting activities. But before to pass the stage to the publishers, to our guests, let me just highlight the importance of approach publishers on a different perspective, and rather than vendors, treat them like partners. Also because what you are potentially expected to do together with that is an exchange of your first-party data. And on this respect, it's really important to set up a trustful relationship, not just with the publisher, but as Sibyl mentioned, also with your final customer. It is important to be transparent with them and inform them about what are the type of data that you are collecting from them and where you are collecting this set of data. So it's really important to work together with publisher in a close contact in order to tackle all the different technical details in the proper way in order to ensure to you and your final customer the best outcome. And on this respect, I would like to engage Alex from Ringer. I know that you have something that you would like to share together with us when it is about how to still be able to track and target users in a cross domain perspective, in a cross environment perspective. Alex.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. So yes, retargeting will be difficult as the amount of addressable people will decrease in general. So as we can see on this slide, we're entering basically a fragmented future where we will have addressable people, indirectly addressable people, or not addressable people. User consent and a first-party identifier will be key to enable retargeting, as a client will need the consent to collect the data on the one side, and also we as a publisher on the other side will need the consent from the user to use the data for our first-party identifier. So if this consent is given, we will be able to do retargeting or expand an advertiser's audience to reach potential customers. There are different technological solutions for retargeting or expanding audience on clients' data. I believe also the expanding part is really crucial, as we discussed also before. So for example, with our DMP, as explained with the example and approach I named earlier, a client can expand their audience based on a lookalike modeling. This is a solution to substitute retargeting. If we go on to the next slide, you can basically see here our first-party identifier will be based on our SSO solution, Ringier Connect, which is a unified single sign-on solution, which will create a shared identifier through various publishers that have implemented Ringier Connect so far. So basically, in the future, without cookies, we can use these shared identifiers as anonymous first-party data source for targeting settings. So our first-party identifier will be based on our SSO solution, Ringier Connect. Naturally, the data transmitted is anonymous to us at Ringier Advertising. This is really important. We will be able to use this first-party identifier to address users within our targetings in future. And also, as a side note, Ringier Connect is the technical solution which will be used in the Login Alliance OneLog.
I find this really interesting, and especially the fact that you're working together with other publishers in order to increase the possible touch points where you will be able to identify, track, and collect data coming from logged users. And on this respect, I think that also Annette from Goldbach will be able to share some more insight about the Ringier Connect initiative, and also what Goldbach is doing together in partnership with Ringier. Annette, would you like to share with us some more details?
Yes. Alex just mentioned it. OneLog will become very important in the Swiss market in terms of enabling advertising based on a common first-party identifier. We have to keep in mind that with the third-party cookie depreciation, the impact, especially on retargeting, will be huge, because with the loss of the third-party cookie, we will not be able to cross-address via different domains. And I think having a login identifier where you have an identifier also be able to read via different publishers will become more and more important. And this year in March, TX Group and Ringier started in a pilot with a single sign-on solution based on the technology Ringier is providing. It is planned that this year a joint venture will be founded and beginning of next year, also other big Swiss publishing houses already mentioned that they will join, like NZZ, CH Media, or also SAG. That means that for Switzerland, we will have really a big unified login identifier base. What Alex mentioned, we will not use the email address as an email address. So in advertising, we will never know which person is really behind. We only get an identifier where we know that the person really initiated that. And consent, Sibyl, you mentioned it a few times, it's really crucial. All users which are surfing on the publisher websites, giving trust to the publisher as well. They want to be sure that there is no misuse with their data, and especially in all advertising activities we are doing at Goldbach, we take that very seriously from the beginning. So having opt-out, opt-in mechanisms in place, having a proper consent management in place, it's the base of everything we are doing here.
And talking about the possible way you could use the data that you collect from the user Annette, how do you think you could position your offering against the solution that Google is already promoting when it is about retargeting activities? Because I mean, we know the fact that what Google stated that during the last update was related to the fact that they want to let the advertiser anymore being able to retarget a user on a, let's say, nominal level, so no more one-to-one, but instead they would like to promote the one-to-many solution by leveraging on groups of users instead of one single user. And I know that this is, yes, of course, a potential alternative, and probably you will be onboarded in the project and this solution as well, as you are still working together with Google. But on the other side, what are the possible alternatives that a publisher could offer to advertiser in case they may want to still be able to retarget user on a one-to-one base?
Yes. I think what's happening on the browser side, and we always have to remember what's happening on Google, it's happening on the Google Chrome browser side, that the cookies will be deprecated. And it's a consequence of the whole privacy discussion we have running on since a few years. And it's a pressure in the market and also in the advertiser market that you just can't collect data as you like. And so the one-to-one relationship towards the person who is surfing on your sites, or who wants to have more information, becomes more important. And so data bases like the login alliance, but also that with our first party cookies, we also have a relationship to the people who are surfing on our side. We have a basis where we can still build audiences for each publisher. And these audiences we can provide in in the ad tech, in the private marketplaces, where the agency can bring together also different publishers, and with curated deals, you have a clearer and more transparent and also a more safe environment to publish your data, your advertising, because the data is in a brand safe environment here. And this is different to what is happening in the market, what is the industry developing on W3C. There are two main initiatives at the moment in the discussion. Flock, where you can address cohorts, a group of users. This will be a technical approach for all DSPs, how to push the advertising, or how to address still in a broader level. And Fletch will be the technical solution for DSPs to still do retargeting in the Google Chrome environment. And Flock and Fletch both will give the ad decisioning to the browser itself, because within the browser, the audience will be detected. And I think that will be one major shift in how we are thinking or how advertising will evolve. We are not sure how it works already, but I think it's kind of challenging and also kind of inspiring how to move forward here. I think it's also an opportunity, especially when we go to the one-to-one, to bring more quality, and even when it's smaller addressing, when we are addressing smaller groups, it's bringing also more transparency in what we are doing.
Yes, I totally agree with you, Annette. And of course, the solution that Google is promoting at the moment still need to be tested. I know that currently there is a beta version that is on the testing phase for the federated learning of course, so the Flock solution displayed in this chart. Of course, a lot of challenges are waiting us on the path. But it is important to also understand that we have several alternatives we could focus on, and it is important that we work together on this respect. So it is not a topic related purely to Google and the rest of the publishers, but also, in my opinion, my humble opinion, advertisers and agencies should support the publishers dealing with these kind of topics, and also helping them understand where they should focus their effort accordingly with the expectation received from advertisers. So thanks a lot, Annette, for your valuable point of view on this respect. I would like to discuss about potential alternatives provided by TITS together with Hugo. And I know that Hugo, you are a big fan of the hybrid approach. I also I'm a big fan of this kind of, let's say, tested learning approach. What is your point of view on this respect? So how this could help advertiser running retargeting activities through your properties?
It's a really good question, and it's not easy to answer, as we saw with all of our partners today. So today we will work with a combination. We will use unique ID when they are available, and how we could do it is for a given ad opportunity. For example, we would have access to potentially a unique ID information. We could have access to thanks to our predictive audience to know who is potentially behind a certain device by predicting it. Then we might have some information about the first party cookie coming from the publisher. And as Annette said, Google will provide us, thanks to the privacy sandbox, some information that will help us do the decisioning in real time. So all in one, we will combine those different approaches, and all over the months enrich our algorithm to be able to answer all advertiser needs. And there is already some tests available, some stuff more on the upper funnel today, but there is like some very promising results coming in.
Thank you, Hugh. And what I really like is that all publishers mentioned the importance of having access to, let's say, a shared unique identifier, of course, anonymous one. Of course, you can also leverage on different approaches to achieve, let's say, the same result. But I still see the importance of having access to unique identifier and also first-party data. So moving to the last set of questions that we basically will quit the discussion related to lower funnel activities in a cookieless environment. I think that this is still a topic that could potentially be related to retargeting activities, but not purely related to the, let's say, digital ecosystem. We're going to basically talk about the usage of geo-targeting, geo-based data, and how this could benefit the activities on the advertiser side. But before to deep dive on these specific topics, I would like to ask Sibyl and Mattia, from 1 to 5, how important is it for your business to run drive-to-store activities, Sibyl?
Thank you, Gio. I would actually give it a 4.5, so something in between. We are having a wholesale model in place at BMW here in Switzerland, so we have, of course, a very close collaboration with our dealers, and therefore it's also really important for us to bring relevant traffic to our dealers. But on the other side, that's why I only gave it a 4.5. It's that we, of course, also running national campaigns. So and always with our national campaigns, there are also some cases where we are also directly having the target to create the digital leads directly on the website. That's why I would give it a 4.5. So still very important.
Okay, thank you so much, Sibyl, for sharing this. And Mattia, what is your point of view on the drive-to-store activities?
Yeah, so I gave it a 2 because, in my opinion, when it comes to store activities, for us, it's not so important. Of course, there are appointments that the agents are doing with customer, but now it's not the momentum to go to the agency. We can do it virtually, or even they can meet in a safe environment. But we have a multi-channeling in place on the website. So for us, it's much more important to get the conversion on the website, either if the user choose to directly buy the product on our website, or if you choose to make an appointment with the agent. Our focus is really to get the conversion there, to get the data there, and not to drive in-store activities.
Yeah, makes sense. I also see the relevance of the different point of view and the connected are also connected to the fact that your business are quite different compared to each other. So I was also expecting this kind of outcome coming from your side. Moving on, the next question. How do you expect geo-targeting activities to be heavily impacted by third-party cookie deprecation and then government regulation as GDPR? And if yes, do you already any possible alternative in place? Sibyl, what's your point of view on this respect?
So actually, that's a difficult question so far. And so far, what I've learned about that topic, I don't think so. And I hope not that this will be the case. But yeah, I'm really curious to learn more about that, actually.
Yes, Sibyl, indeed you are right, because third-party cookie deprecation is not going to affect the geo-targeting activities as they are not leveraging on this kind of technology, but the legal regulations are limiting the type of data that could be collected in order to run those geo-targeting activity. As an example, IP addresses won't be possible to collect it on a blank level. So in it potentially needs to be hashed, but even better if it could be possible to replace this kind of data point with an alternative, as an example, GPS location. And Mattia, what's your point of view on this respect, on how third-party cookie deprecation is going to affect the geo-targeting activities?
Yeah, I think partially you mentioned it already. The impact will not be so high because, also from my understanding, it's more like GPS related. But I'm happy that Celine is here, the main expert of geoactivities. But I'm also happy that it's not the case, because geoactivities or geotargeting for us is also very important, because we believe that, targeting people that visited some point of interest could have a correlation with an insurance product. So virtually looking to Sibyl, if people are visiting a car showroom, probably because they want to buy a car, they also probably will need a car insurance in the next future. So these are the kind of point of interest targeting activities that we are doing there.
Oh, good to know that. And I also see that there is a connection in between the two different business. Maybe one day you will set up potentially second party data in order to share relevant information related to some potential common customer you may have. But let's see. And coming back to the topic of this discussion, I would like to listen the opinion of Celine from AMO, as she is the expert on geo-based targeting activities. Celine, will you mind to share with us what kind of possible solution AMO is able to provide to our clients?
Sure. Thank you very much, Gio. So in the first place, maybe to quickly answer the open question about geo-targeting activities can be impacted. Yes, I think here we have in the first place, make the difference between geo-targeting activities delivery and the measurement during a campaign. I speak now in the first place about geo-targeting activities in the programmatic advertising. In the delivery, there can be impacted because the delivery will come less narrow and less precise, and you will have also a little bit less potential when you want really to target a certain audience. And in the measurement topic, of course, with no cookies, also attribution will be way less accurate, and also less conversion can be measured. So more estimation also here in the measurement will be made. The AMO mobile targeting for the beginning is working without a third-party cookie. So that means the AMO technology is working with the AMO app instance ID. So we are not influenced by the third-party cookie regulations. So this is also the most and big advantage of for AMO with the changes and regulation in the advertising market. In the beginning, what we want to show you here in this slide also is how the AMO mobile targeting is working. The AMO mobile targeting is a location data technology developed by the APG, and it is based on a direct data connection to a high quality and high reach mobile app network. So that means, Gio, can you go a slide behind that again and show us the live data map? Thank you very much. What I want to show you here are GPS data points on this map, the red points which appears. So that means, like I mentioned, we have a direct data connection to our publisher partner network. And what I have to mention here is we, of course, have to mention that we must have the consent of the user for use the location. So that's the opt-in and possibility, and each user also has the opt-out option. So I think these are the most important points to mention here in the topic of data protection. You can go forward a slide more, Gio, and what I want to show you also here is, or what I want to mention is, in addition, the accuracy of the GPS data point is used for the algorithm also. So that means the AMO algorithm filters out inaccurate data points. So that means for the advertising campaigns, polygon will be drawn on a geographic map. So this allows us, polygon technology allows us that the target areas will be drawn to the nearest meter, and like this also we increase the local and temporal relevance of the advertising message. Yes, you can see here on the third sequence image, the red surface, this is a polygon. So this is the targeted area which we are drawn on this geographical map. So as a summary, I only want to mention that we form the target group based on physical location characteristics. And when you go to the last slide in this AMO points, we are also want to combine, of course, out of home with mobile media using the location-based advertising on smartphones. This is also why AMO was built up and developed in the APG, because, of course, we can implement with our communication areas double impact campaigns, and of course also uses synergies from the APG, for example, with the new business of the programmatic digital out of home. And for example, I also want to mention here some examples also for Generali, Mattia, and for you, Sibyl, and for BMW, for example, because we can make a meter accurate targeting, we can cover with a polygon. This is, like I mentioned, the target and wished area where we want to reach and communicate with the audience. Like we can draw and cover polygon like insurance companies or bank offices. We can also cover fitness studios, because there can be also an interesting audience maybe for some insurance lines, or for some car brands. We can cover golf courses, and even a car salon event we are able to cover and communicate with the audience. So yeah, that means also we can use one of our technology also to communicate with audience on visited past locations.
For your point of view on this respect, I really like the fact that the geo-based targeting could still be important for brands in order to run targeting activities that are not purely related to the digital environment, but also the real physical world, thanks to the fact that you may be able to connect with out-of-home activities. And I think that this is a great added value for targeting communication, especially if we connect those activities to an omni-channel communication approach. So thanks once again for your contribution on this respect, Celine. It has been a pleasure. Moving on before moving on the next chapter, this is going to be actually the final chapter as part of our roundtable discussion. Let me sum up quickly what has been discussed in the previous one. So basically, we were talking about lower funnel activities in a cookieless environment, and what we discover is that once again, the importance of first-party data is going to be crucial and relevant, and even more the way you collect this information, and also the way you can be transparent with the final customers in order to let them being aware and conscious about the types of data you are collecting from them and where you are collecting from them. So in this respect, what has been discussed was the importance of having a unified content management tool. Also, this is something that a publisher already have in place towards them. We checked the initiative run by Ringer and Goldbach related to the single sign-on initiative. It would be great to also let advertiser joining this initiative, as probably it would be even easier to collect data from their properties. We saw how this could let advertisers still be able to run retargeting activities through their properties, thanks to hybrid approach, so leveraging on different tracking technologies. And finally, we also checked how possibly brands could leverage on alternative solution for targeting purposes, which are completely disconnected from third-party cookie tracking technologies, but more focused on the way customers are moving into the real world. So identify a relevant point of interest or relevant point of sales could be crucial for brands in order to get in touch with them, the right set of customers also at the right moment. Now we are going to talk about how third-party cookie deprecation is going to affect tracking and monitoring activities. And on this respect, I will start as usual with a couple of questions for Sibyl and Mattia. I will start with the first question, asking Sibyl, from 1 to 5, how important is it for your business to run data-driven attribution modeling?
Thank you, Gio. I would give it a 4, since our DCO campaign is quite data-driven on our end, and as we use automatic retargeting with our dynamic ads, which adapt depending on their users' behavior on our website at the moment. But I think it's also important when we think of our search activity we have in place, and maybe there could be even a higher potential for data-driven optimization, as we can set up even a growth value and target within the platform to optimize towards it. So I would say it's important for us, and that's why I would give it a 4.
Okay, thank you, Sibyl, for sharing this. And Mattia, what's the point of view generally towards this specific question?
Yeah, Joe. So for us, I would talk about data-driven advertising. I think for us it's a 5. It's actually one of our main topics, one of our core topics, to really be performance-oriented and data-driven when we do run advertising campaigns.
Okay, yeah, totally makes sense. And the next question is, do you expect data-driven attribution modeling activities to be heavily impacted by third-party cookie deprecation? If yes, do we already have a possible alternative in place? But before let Sibyl answer this question, what I would like to anticipate is that when we talk data-driven attribution modeling, it is crucial to have access to, let's say, the first level of interaction that brands may have with customers. So having access to the impression exposure is something really important for brands in order to understand where the customer has been addressed by a specific targeted communication coming from the brand, and how he reacted to this kind of inputs. So the third-party cookie deprecation will affect the impression tracking, especially on the MP side, as we are leveraging on third-party cookie tracking pixels. So once this won't be available anymore, the only possible solution for brands would be having access to data shared by the publishers. And this is going to be crucial also in the perspective of data sharing activities. But I just want to anticipate this technical topic in order to basically provide much more details also to the webinar attendees which are following us, and maybe they may not be fully aware about the implication of third-party cookie deprecation on and related to the data-driven attribution modeling activities. But Sibyl, what's your perspective on this question? How do you think third-party cookie deprecation will affect the attribution modeling activities, and what kind of possible alternatives do you have already in place?
So thank you, Gio. Yes, I think that they will be heavily impacted. I think in the end, there will be less data being available, and therefore also less room for the algorithm to optimize properly and to apply consistent learnings. So therefore, the algorithm might have to do more assumption in its optimization, or even in a worst case, cannot do any optimization at all due to insufficient data. So I really think they are going to be heavily impacted. On our end, it's work in progress, and also there, I need to say, for us, it's really important to stay in very, very close contact also with our partners to really discuss openly possible solution for us in the future, how we can leverage it.
Okay, that's great to hear. I also like the fact that you're already open to start conversation together with publishers on this respect. This is a really positive outcome, I would say. And Mattia, what's your point of view on this respect?
Yes, so it's not an easy topic. I think it really also depends on how the attribution model is built. If you are more, let me say, more an online company when it comes to media, or both offline, online. In our case, I have to say that with the Google Marketing Platform solution, where we have, ad server, DSP, and the ad tools connected, attribution modeling with first-party data still somehow is working, even if we think that it was never, the perfect methodology to optimize campaigns. We strongly believe that we have to look into incrementality, into mid and long-term effects when we run our campaigns, especially when it's about awareness. And when it comes to performance, the way we actually decide on which platforms we shift budget and move budget, we do it with artificial intelligence model. We started collaboration with Nexoya, a startup situated here in Zurich, where we predict based on historical data the future performance of each campaign in each channel, and so we can really do a budget cross-channel optimization. Of course, one important aspect when you do that is that you really have a biddable media strategy, that you are on biddable medias to do so, and then this is the direction we follow. But in general, I think that advertising or digital advertising, it's really moving even more to a BI topic. We have seen the complexity today, and it's also a challenge, but there are also a lot of opportunities, and we also try to go behind the ad tech landscape. And so I told you before about the conversion intent. So we are starting to move into the cloud to do cloud for marketing projects, and this is a little bit on what we are building now for the next future.
Good to hear. And if I may connect with the point related to how you could distract or exploit data that you are collecting from the advertising activities. There are mainly two different options you could decide to adopt on your side. Of course, it also depends about the quality and the amount of data that you are collecting. In case you may decide to set up a data partnership with publishers, what you will access is different data points connected at nominal level, due to the fact that you will be able to identify user thanks to the shared unified user ID. And thanks to that, you will be able to run a real data-driven attribution modeling, because basically you will have potentially access data to the raw set of data that could be shared by the publisher to you. You could work those data in a data lake environment, so you could decide to move those data into your into your cloud infrastructure, or even possibly if you may have a customer data platform, will still be helpful in order to let you run advanced data analytics modeling, or in case you may have access to punctual data at nominal user level, what you could be able to run is econometric modeling on media marketing mix, as you already doing in Generali Mattia, thanks to the fact that you will be able to collect campaign data on aggregated level, and those data could feed the econometric model that you may be able to run once again inside the data lake infrastructure, or even into dedicated business intelligence tools. As an example, Microsoft BI could be another interesting alternative, and also Tableau as well. So as you can see, we have two possible alternatives, and those alternatives are strictly related to the way you could be able to collect your data. So preferably, if you may be able to collect data directly from publisher, data-driven attribution would be something that you will still be able to run. And of course, I expect best results coming from this kind of activities. On the other side, if you may have access to campaign data on aggregated level, what will be really important is going to be having access to a reasonable amount of data. So the econometric model will be feed with the greatest amount of information, and this for sure will at the end benefit the final outcome that the model will be able to display to you. So considering that we are close to the end of this wonderful roundtable event, I will jump to the conclusion of the discussion of today. And what I think is summarizing quite well the outcome of this brilliant discussion that we have together with the advertiser and the publisher today is basically that we have four main upcoming challenges on our path. The first one is to increase the focus on the customer relationship, with which we understand from what has been shared by Generali and BMW is something really important for advertisers. The need of having a unified content management solution in order to also be more transparent with the final customer, to deploy trusted data partnership. So it means advertisers getting in touch together with publishers. And we, as a media agency, would like to play the role of enabler in order to facilitate the conversation between the two different parts. And last but not least, to empower usage of first-party data. And of course, this is strongly dependent from the previous three upcoming challenges that I mentioned before. Before to quit, I would like to run a rapid check together with our guests. Sibyl, what do you think? Those upcoming challenges summarizing quite well the outcome of this discussion? On anything you may want to add on this respect?
Thank you to you. I actually find it really suitable, basically, the summary, because as we have heard, I think it's on the one side really important to have trustworthy relationships when it comes to these kind of topics and to tackle those together in the future. But on the other side, also the scalability. And I think we have also heard and learned a lot about the really high importance going forward to base really a lot of measurements and also activities on our own first-party data, and find there some really suitable solutions based on each specific setup every advertiser has in the end. So really important and really interesting. So thank you very much.
Thanks to you, Sibyl. It has been a pleasure having you joining our event. Mattia, on your side, anything you may want to share or add on this respect?
Yeah, from my side, what I can add is that it's really nice to see how the publisher in the Swiss market are moving, how advanced they are to the upcoming challenges. And I think that you mentioned an important point, Joe, that we need to strengthen also the collaboration between we as an advertiser and the local publisher. And I think as well that you mentioned perfectly that the media agencies, it's playing a key role in this, and looking at all the also solution they are providing. I think that in the upcoming weeks and months we will have a lot of chats with the publisher to see how we can even strengthen more our campaigns and our performance marketing activities.
Thank you so much, Mattia, for your feedback. Something I would like to add is that for sure today we answer some of the 1,000 questions that everyone has at the moment, and at the same time we also open other question that needs to be answered in the following months. And on this respect, something I would like to propose to all the attendees of this event is that we should still keep in touch, and ideally also potentially build a common task force where we have people working together in order to still be in touch and tackle all the different open questions that we still have in order to deliver to our partners the best outcomes, considering the upcoming challenges that are waiting for us on the way. Before to quit the event, I would like to thank you, all the attendees, the speakers, and also everyone that is following the event from remote, from his apartment, his house, his office, due to the current constraints we are living at the moment. I would also like to thank my company for hosting this event, EAB for sponsoring the event, B&W, Generali, Goldbach, Ringer, AIMO, and TIDS for joining the discussion. It has been a great pleasure having such expert talents brainstorming together with us on those specific topics. In case anyone of the webinar attendees may have any question, feel free to reach out to us. You can see there is my email address and also the email address of my colleague Stefania Parnigotto, which I will also like to thank together with the marketing team. Thanks a lot, Margherita. Thanks a lot, Natalie. And thanks a lot also the technical expert helping us on the backstage running this wonderful event. So it has been a great pleasure. Thank you so much. And hopefully we will still keep in touch. Hopefully we will still work together and understand how the data-driven digital advertising is going to be evolved, and also how Dentsu will be able to support his partner during this evolving path. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.